Hello, everybody. Just waiting for everybody to join. It says we're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Just waiting for people to tune in. Takes a bit of time. Hello, Mr. Vower. How are you? Just starting right now. I'm just going to wait for a request. There we go. We've got Divina De Campo here. Here we go. Go live. Divina. Go. Hopefully this will work. I'm going to check my sound. Here we go. Connecting.
Hello!
Hello, Divina De Campo, and welcome to Dover Pride Live. This is something quite new for us. We've only really started it in the last 3 weeks. Our first Dover Pride was last week, and we feel absolutely honoured to have you here on our Instagram Live. So first of all, thank you so much for being here. How's your week been?
Very good, thank you. I got no idea what day it is. Oh, I do. It's Friday. It's Friday today. I'm going to be honest, like I have done naff all this week. There's loads of stuff that I'm going to just move this down. There's loads of stuff that I should be doing, but instead my housemate has got this thing on his Xbox where you can like pay a subscription and then you just have access to all these games.
Amazing.
So I've just been at the moment I'm really into like platforms and those kind of games where you go on an adventure and there's a little mini quest over here and this and that, and you know. So I'm playing Middle Earth at the moment.
Oh my God.
And killing lots of orcs, just running around and killing lots of orcs.
I love it. You know, I used to have this obsession with Lord of the Rings when it was a game. So I used to love playing as Legolas and being like, pow, pow,
Yes!
pow. It was so fun.
Yes. Love Lord of the Rings. Love the games. Love them.
Well, I mean, how else can you spend lockdown, really, you know, other than playing games? Why not make the most of it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've done really, really well. I've been really busy. I've been very productive. But this last week, for definite, I am like, nah, I'm just going to sit here for 5 hours and hack and kill things, because why not?
Absolutely. And also, you've probably had like the busiest, craziest, I'd imagine, kind of 6 months just from keeping your presence online, as well as doing multiple performances when you came off Drag Race. It must have been absolutely crazy. You've probably been really, really busy. So it's nice to have a good break. And also, I think it's important for your mental health just to have that kind of breather where you can just relax and have that time to yourself as well. And I think, yeah, I would do the same, totally. But yeah, well, obviously we're here to talk about Pride. And I just wanted to first of all ask you, what does Pride mean to you? I'd imagine you've probably been asked quite a lot, but it'd be nice to share with Dover what Pride means to you.
Yeah, like Pride for me is about visibility, and it is about stop hacking and killing red wigs and silver dresses. True. Yeah, Pride is very much for me. It's about visibility. It's about sort of reminding people in the community that we're here, that we exist. We work in your supermarkets, we work in your schools, we work in your hospitals, we're everywhere. Absolutely. And we always have been and we always will be. So let's stop being like that stupid boxer this week who's had all his sponsorship dropped. Let's stop being an idiot. Let's stop judging people for who they want to sleep with or how they want to live their life. As long as you're not hurting anybody and it's, you know, consensual and everybody's an adult, and then, I mean, shut up.
Exactly. As we like to say in Dover, it was our chant at our very first Pride last year. We're here, we're queer, get over it, my dear.
Exactly. I mean, it is very that, you know. So that's what Pride is to me. It's as much a celebration of life and existence as it is a protest.
Absolutely. And something that I was really curious about, which I'm sure not many people already know about, is when did you attend your first Pride? Because obviously you were on Drag Race and people kind of just have this assumption that you've been to a Pride. And actually, not everybody has been to a Pride before, but when was your first Pride?
My first Pride would have, oh my goodness. So I shouldn't have been there. I was really naughty. I think I want to say 16. Ooh.
Yeah.
And I was working with this girl, Eve. And she had just come out as a lesbian, and she was like, let's go to Manchester to Pride. So we went to Manchester, and she had some friends in Manchester, so we stayed at their house. I went out, got absolutely trolleyed, had lots of naughty times, and yeah, it was great. But it was strange. So in Manchester now, in the village, when Pride is on, they have fencing all around the village to stop the riffraff. Basically, that's what it is. And having been there before all of that was put in place, it definitely serves that purpose, because as we were sort of leaving and going out of the village at like 2-3 in the morning, there was lots of undesirables, is what you would call them, and they were, people out fighting and queer bashing, and so it's while it makes Pride, the festival itself, it makes it less accessible, it does make it a lot safer. Absolutely. So it's a really difficult way up, where things sort of start to tip, and you go, okay, now it becomes about safety.
Absolutely. And I actually attended my first ever Manchester Pride last year. That wasn't my first Pride. I think it was my third, because previously I'd been to London a few years. And the atmosphere was completely different. I just was like, blown away. It actually felt like there was more people there than London. And I think it's because Manchester has such a huge gay community, and it's just such a beautiful amount of people as well. The LGBTQ plus community, honestly, are just incredible wherever you go in the UK. And I think we've moved with the times a lot more, but there's still a lot more to do. And people need to remember that Pride is, of course, a protest as much as it is a party and a celebration. And we all do love a drink, but we have to remember the real reason why we do it. And another thing I wanted to ask, because obviously last year you had your big drag race debut on the Manchester Pride live stage, which was insane, probably the busiest Manchester Pride ever, because of Ariana and lots of other artists. But before that, what was the first Pride you actually performed at? Was it Manchester Pride?
Oh, no, it wasn't. I worked in Stoke for a real long time. I worked in Stoke, I was kind of in and out of Stoke-on-Trent for 10 years or more. And that was the first Pride that I ever performed at. It's one of those prides which started out literally on a car park with a car.
Yeah.
It was, and it has just grown and grown and grown. And it really is a fantastic event now, the Stoke Pride event. They have it in one of the parks in Stoke, which Stoke is
not mainstream, like kind of the city based. It's kind of slightly off
exactly.
Yeah,
but it's a really deprived area. There's lots of people who are really disenfranchised. It's not an easy place for people to live, and it's also not very gay friendly at all. But the Pride that they have there is really helping to kind of combat that and turn things around, It's a great place though. Yeah, that's one of the first places that I ever performed at for Pride. And it was great.
That's amazing. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, because Dover Pride, our very first Pride, was last year. We had never done it before, and a lot of people see a lot of negative press about Dover because we're on the port, we're near the sea. Everybody sees bad news in the press. If it's not bad news, then I'm not going to say his name, you know who. And there's a lot of bad press around Dover, and the most beautiful thing about Dover Pride is we're a small community of volunteers that set this up. So Fraser, Emma, Lisa and Sarah set it up last year, and I had moved to London at the time. And when I saw that my hometown had their very first Pride, I cried. I was like, this for me is so important and so special. I've got goosebumps even just thinking about it right now. Yeah. But what I would want to know from you, Davina, is how important do you think it is that we have local prides? Because for me, I think, as you said, the deprived areas like the place where you grew up, you obviously mentioned a little bit about it on Drag Race. What was that like for you, and how important was it for you to kind of show people that local prides are important?
Well, local prides are actually more important than the prides in the big cities. So like Oldham Pride, Chesterfield Pride, Stoke Pride, Calderdale, where I'm from, has just started. Last year had their first Pride, I think. And I was going to be there this year, and then of course this Corona. And they're actually more important, because in the city, you know, there's a phrase that sort of encapsulates it, and it says that the city is the most dangerous place, but it is also the safest place for queer people.
Yeah.
And that's because, you know, in a small town, there just isn't the support network. There isn't even the community or the population to create that support network. You
Absolutely.
know, so Stoke was amazingly lucky in that it has had a gay venue for probably 30 years now. There's been a gay venue in Stoke. Yeah, and at one time there were 4 of them, you know. And it's been an incredibly lucky, because it's quite small, you know, there's only 120,000 people, give or take, who live around there. And that's same as sort of Huddersfield, which again had a gay bar, but Stoke had this gay club which was 600, 700 capacity. And then when we moved to another place, it was more like 1,000 that you could fit in. And then Huddersfield had a venue for years and years and years where the capacity was about 60, you know. So and Huddersfield was one of the first places to have a gay bar. So, you know, I was really lucky to be able to go to it when it was still open. The Greyhound, Mike running the thing.
You see, I never went to a gay kind of bar or club, because there isn't really any in Kent. There are a few now, but there wasn't before. When I was at uni, it was very much a new thing. So there's a club night called Glitter Bomb when I was in Canterbury at university, and it was the first kind of gay queer venue I'd ever experienced. And it was like, wow, this made me feel so, you know, equal, and also I didn't feel strange anymore. I felt like I fit in. Do you know what I mean? And that's important, that we have these local prides and obviously these venues that provide that support, because that's what we hope to do with Dover Pride. We're hoping to provide a local community and build that community of support, really. Because when I grew up in Dover, I didn't really know anybody that was gay, you know. I was always picked on at school. I actually had very bad experience in a classroom of all guys, where because I, you know, was a bit more camp than them, used to be in the choir, do all the musical theatre, where they bullied me, you know, to the floor at one point, and we had to ring the school and be like, no, this isn't okay. But to know, if I was to go back to me then, and I saw that there was a Dover Pride, I think it would have made things a lot easier. And I think that's another reason why we do it. And I think it's just amazing what you've done personally on a local level as well as an international level. We're so grateful that you're here on Dover Pride Live, and we're very, very lucky to have you. But I think we should talk a little bit about life after Drag Race, because of course I'm sure there's many a challenge as much as there is an amazing experience of, you know, being in the spotlight. And I really wanted to ask about kind of the coolest places that you've been, because it must have taken you to some incredible places.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd already had stuff booked in before. The way that my diary has worked for the last sort of 4 years has been that I've had stuff booked in for like the year coming up, and then a bit of the year after. So like Drag Race sort of happened, and I already had lots of things already in the diary. So it just sort of meant that I am completely wearing the Cookie Monster.
I love it. Yes.
Just so that we're like, I haven't been in this all day. I've already recorded something, done some filming for Silver Pride for tomorrow, and then I just got out of it. So that's kind of how my diary was. I'd already booked, you know, quite a lot of stuff in. Thankfully there were like blocks of time. So like I had the Panto, which was so much fun. Oh my goodness.
You did that with Jamie, didn't you, as well?
Do you mean
Campbell? Yeah, the Jamie.
Yes,
Jamie,
of course. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, what an amazing cast. So much fun. And it just you can tell, like, I can't explain how much fun it was. It was so much fun. Hard work. I mean, shit me.
Of course.
Hard work anyway. And then you're traveling from one place to another, to another, to another.
Yeah.
And then sometimes doing like 2 or 3 shows.
Didn't you do, I remember actually from DragCon, you had to run to get to a show. So you were literally doing, you did the Frost stories, you did your meet and greet, and you were like, see you later guys, I'm off for a show. It was great. I was like, how on earth is like Davina gone from London to Newcastle to do a show within the space of about 3 hours? I was like, I did your magic.
That was a lot, those couple of days, because we opened on the Friday night.
Yeah.
DragCon was the next day. So I worked until I think we got home from the theatre at like 1. Then I got up at 4 to get the train on the Saturday.
Wow.
And then I put my face on the train.
Yeah.
And then I had to get back on the train at 2:00 that afternoon to get back to Manchester.
Wow.
Then do it all again, work until 1. But then, because it was a Sunday, I couldn't get the damn train. I had to get the coach.
Oh my gosh, no.
At 3:00 in the morning.
Did you have
3:00 in the morning? Oh, I was so tired by the time. And then it was Blackpool. We were in Blackpool. And they'd had like, they'd arrived like way before I got there.
Yeah.
And nothing was ready. Like nothing was ready. None of the sound was ready. None of the scenery was up. Nobody had sorted their costumes out. And like, I am running from the train station, running in and going, okay guys, why is nothing set up? What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no business like show business, is there?
I mean, honestly, for a real crazy, but so much fun. And the cast, honestly, they were so good this time. Everybody was just so good.
Yeah. And we've got to talk about, from performance really to your music. Of course, you've been busy with touring and doing digital shows, but come on now, the Decoded album, 6 glorious tracks, which I absolutely love. But I need to know, what is your favourite track of them all?
It changes from day to day. That's the thing, because each one is sort of, about a different thing. And I kind of written it in with that in mind, that it was going to be a bit like Jessie J's first album, in that everything is kind of different to each other. And so it just allows you to go, there's a different track for however you're feeling that day. There's a different track for it. But I think my favourite one is probably Pocket Rocket Princess. Just because it's
I'm so glad you said that. I love that one. And the name as well. It's iconic. I love it. Also, like your most recent song, I think it's your most recent, Gratify as well.
Yeah.
The video, Davina, where was that shot? Tell me more. Where did that come about? Because I was so
so we thankfully we got it all done before lockdown, because otherwise that would have been a nightmare. But we'd literally just finished filming. Then I went off for 2-3 weeks touring, and then when I got back, I don't know what this cat dog is about. Then when I got back, we started editing, but lockdown kind of dropped the week after, and I came back with, I feel like I had COVID in November time when we had the Drag Race tour, because I had such a dry cough with it, and I was so unwell. I was so sick. When we were doing the Drag Race tour, I was so sick. And
you still did the meet and greet before, and of course the post-show stuff as well.
Yeah.
You were like back to back. But honestly, when you performed in London, you could not tell Davina at all.
I was like, so sick. The only time I've been that ill before, I got swine flu when I was in Ibiza.
Oh my god.
That's the only other time I've ever felt that wreck, just horrendous. So, but when I came back from Belfast, I was there with Blue, and when I got back, I had flu. So I think it was just flu rather than COVID.
Yeah.
Still, though, I said to everybody, "Look, I'm not well." I put it on like the producers'
Yeah.
page. I messaged everybody. I put it on the venues pages saying, "I'm not well. Do not go and see your grandma."
Right. Okay. That's so good of you though, because a lot of people don't do that. You know, the importance of masks, the importance of
Oh,
distancing, and the importance of just letting people know that you're not well. Like, for example, this has made me think a lot more about, even if I've just got a cough, going out to a concert or going to something like that where you're going to be, you know, surrounded by people. It's really made me rethink those decisions that maybe I would have not even thought about. You know, it's just a cold. Let's go ahead. You know, so
yeah.
that's definitely made me more aware. But you know, with everything that's happened in lockdown, there's also been a lot more kind of pressure on people's, you know, everything from mental health through to illness. And something that obviously came to light recently was you did an absolutely amazing bite-sized interview about how to support LGBTQ plus kids and their parents. And this is something that I think is never talked about enough in the media. But you created this huge media storm, and I don't care what the haters say.
I mean, it really was a storm.
Yeah, it was everywhere. And I was like, I love Davina for this, but I'm angry at the press for the negativity that people were bringing up. And I was like, honestly, this is exactly why Davina's doing this. You know, it's exactly why you did that. So how important do you think it is to educate people and help them understand and come to terms with, you know, having teens or family members who want to talk about their sexuality and, you know, open up, and particularly those teenagers who maybe are ready to come out but unsure? I know I'm kind of asking what's mentioned in the bite size BBC sound. So, but yeah,
I think I mean, education full stop is just the most important thing. If you can teach kids particularly about social issues, then they stop being issues. You know, it just stops being a thing. So, and the stats are really clear about this. I did a project with Just Like Us, who are an organisation that specifically work on LGBTQ inclusion in schools. So they run Diversity Week, and Don was saying that the level of suicide is 4 times higher if you're LGBT and 8 times higher if you're T.
Oh my gosh!
If the school is not supportive, you know, so if it's not a supportive environment that you're operating in as a young person, then you are that much more likely. If it is a supportive environment where people are teaching about stuff and, you know, just making it easier, then actually it just goes down to exactly the same level as everybody else. And so that to me says everything that you need to know. If we do this, and it's not huge amounts of work, that's the thing. It's not every lesson should be talking about LGBTQ issues, of course not. But if you do this work, it means that your students will be so much better and have much better outcomes in their lives, you know, full stop.
So true.
You know, I had a very similar experience clearly to you in school, in that it was just really damaging. And then you carry that. That's the problem. You carry that stuff with you. I mean, I should really have been in therapy for 15 years, but here we are.
But, you know, Scotland is making moves as well. The fact they put it in their curriculum is incredible. And I don't understand why the UK doesn't follow suit. I think it's got to happen. And this is something, again, with Dover Pride that we're trying to do by setting up this community of people and doing open meetings, doing live streams like this. We hope that we can help those who maybe haven't got that help at home or haven't got that, you know, help in their village. We were hoping before COVID obviously came about to go into our villages within our towns. We were going to go super duper local, so that if someone was a bit hesitant of actually attending a pride or, you know, coming to a meeting in the town, or for example, their parents would have to drive them, then we would come to them. So, you know, it's all about being all inclusive and being there for them. And hopefully we'll make that happen. But this is why we're doing kind of the live streams as an alternative just until we get a bit further. And we're going to be doing Dover's Digital Pride on Saturday 29th of August, where everybody can get involved online. There'll be a series of performances and interviews and all kinds of things. So it's very, very exciting. And we're also doing a series of fundraisers as well online. So we're doing a quiz with Mr. Bauer next Saturday, which is also raising money for a local's top surgery as well. Because, of course, with everything with J.K. Rowling recently, we understand the importance that trans lives matter just as much as anybody else's life. And, you know, we're basically doing as much as we can online, as much as we are, you know, we want to do in person. So it's a really exciting time. And I need to talk about what you're doing tomorrow as well. Whilst we're here, you have a live digital pride show. So
yes, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm in my garage of dreams here. And yeah, so 8 o'clock tomorrow night. There's tickets. You can still get tickets online, and you know what? It's 8 o'clock till 9, so it's perfect Prinks time.
Amazing.
Get yourself some drinks laid out.
Absolutely.
Get your Uber on order for 9 o'clock, ready to go out and have a nice time. We can all have a sing and a dance, and then you can all off out for a jolly. Exactly.
Exactly. And also, one thing I've got to say as well, because some people on here may not have seen a DDC show before, and the reason why I say DDC is because we're Dover Pride and we're going for Dover's Digital Pride, so DDP. And obviously DDC shows are incredible. I've been lucky enough to see you a few times. What can people expect from a show with Divina De Campo?
A bit of everything, really, and lots of silliness. So there's the way I've been running them recently is I've been doing like almost a jukebox. So I said, okay, we've got 1 to 20, pick a number. Everybody picks a number, and then I'm going to sing that song, whatever that song is. I don't know what the song is. They don't know what the song is. We're just going to pick a song, and we're going to have a little go at it. And then, you know, just chatting with everybody. That's kind of how, because otherwise I find the digital shows are really difficult. I don't find them that much fun if I can't interact with people. So I kind of build it around interacting with everybody. Because otherwise, God, it's boring, isn't it? It's just me singing to a screen and you looking at the screen.
Yeah. I mean, Davina, though, like, there's something so contagious about watching you perform. You're so much fun. You've got the most contagious laugh, as everybody says. And you're just a joy, absolutely joy to watch. And everybody's saying in the comments, they're like, Davina, come to Dover. So if ever you're around or available, Davina, of course,
got to make it work.
Dover.
Make it work.
Yeah, and talking about that, because we are a team of volunteers, I'm also going to say that if anybody out there is watching and would like to donate or get involved with Dover Pride in any way, as I said, we're all a team of volunteers. If you'd like to perform, if you'd like to, you know, set up an event, if you're local as well, and then you can email us on pridedover@gmail.com. I'm going to go through a few of the comments now, Davina, because there's a lot of people talking about saying, come to Dover, I'll treat you to fish and chips. We love that. We've got Emma, who's one of our founders, said, Davina, I'll chuck you an Ian Beale pint if you come to Dover Pride 2021. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Oh, and you put the link in there, so guys, if you want
I've just dropped the link to the show in there, so if you are free, come and join me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Davina, for your time today. We really appreciate you coming on and doing this with a local pride. I know you've got a big platform worldwide, but to just even have your time today has been incredible. And I want to wish you all of the best with the future, your Digital Pride Fest, and I hope that we can stay in touch and hopefully do something with Pride in the future. But yeah, thank you again, and have a lovely weekend, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
You too, darling. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Take care, Davina. Thank you. Bye.